Hey everyone, welcome to Ellis Mowers. I appreciate you watching the channel as always. Today we have a club car in the garage. It looks like it just got pulled out of the woods or something along those lines. My friend Brian, he sent this over to me, the one that always sends me the golf carts and the other obscure items that aren't necessarily mowers, but they're still small engines. And it just kind of shows you that going back and forth between mowers and other small engines really isn't that much of a difference. You're never really going to see ATVs or motorcycles on the channel. They're a whole different animal and a whole different array of like parts and stuff like that, and I'm just not interested in doing that. I will do golf carts. They seem fairly easy. So far, we did that crankcase gasket. We had the engine out. Hopefully we don't have to do that on this. This thing's just been sitting up a while. I think it just needs a really good cleaning of the entire fuel system on it. So hopefully that's all we've got to do to get this thing back running and get it out the door. So I hope y'all enjoy this video, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, Ellis at ellismowers.com, or at ellismowers09 on Instagram and Facebook. Let's get started. Give you a walk around of this club car. Again, he probably paid little or nothing for this. He puts out the ads of like, golf carts, I want them. And people give them to him or sell them to him for really cheap. One of the two. So, again, this thing is in rough shape. Gas, let me see if I can show you all the gas real quick. We're going to replace all the fuel lines and stuff on this thing. Gas is orange in there. I don't know how well y'all can see that, but it smells bad. Oh, it smells like it's been sitting up for a long time. No battery in it. We'll throw a battery in it for him as well. And oil situation. Actually not bad. Seen worse. So don't really have to worry about that too much. I think he wants me to change the belts and stuff on it too, which I can access from the back. And again, a lot of starting off pretty rough here, but I really do think it's only going to take me replacing the fuel lines, getting this fuel tank out of here, draining it out, and getting the carb off and cleaning it, maybe like in the ultrasonic cleaner or something along those lines. So hopefully that's all we got to do to it. Hopefully nothing else is in shambles and stuff here. Looks fairly intact. That little cover for this is missing, but hopefully none of the fuses or anything are blown. Starter solenoid looks okay and all those good stuff. Don't really have a lot of issues with these things. I mean, they get beat around the golf course all the time and just keep on cruising. So we'll get into working on this here in just a second. Alright guys, so we're kind of off to a start. We'll see how much fun this one's going to be. So what has happened is I have so far so I don't have the correct ignition switch first off, so it's a 4-pole and I was given a 2-pole, so that's wrong. But one of my bigger issues is this engine is it's not locked up, but it's like it's rust welded. The rings are rust is inside the engine, I think, because if you watch me turn it here, I can turn it to a certain degree, and then it just stops. So, so it's like it's got some junk in the cylinder. What I'm going to do, take the spark plug off right there, and because when I jump the solenoid it will turn, but it will not turn one revolution. It just stops. So I want to take the spark plug out, throw a little bit of lubricant down the cylinder there, try and work it back and forth to see if I can get it free. If I can get it free and get it spinning, then I'll go ahead and try and figure out the whole. I mean, I just need to go get another key switch and just let him eat the cost on it, honestly, because I'm pretty sure that's all we need to do. And we'll go from there, because I don't think we're getting any power to the starter motor. So We'll get to that in just a second, though. I want to see if I can get this engine freed up first before I do anything. All right, guys, I don't know how well y'all will be able to see this, but I was able to throw some WD-40 down through the spark plug into the cylinder, down the hole into the cylinder, and then I just worked the, that'd be the variable speed pulley back on the crank, and was able to get it freed up, so that's good. So now, when I jump the solenoid with the gas pedal on in neutral with the safety switch on, I do get spark. So I don't know if y'all can see that, but we do get spark. So I think I am gonna just throw some throw a little bit of carb spray down into the hole, put the plug back on, see if we can at least get it to hit, and Lord only knows, it might run off of this mess. I'm not sure. I doubt it. I highly doubt it because the whole 90-degree tank thing is broke off of it, but well, at least see if we can get it to kick over for us. If we can get it to kick over, I feel confident enough to just go through this, because wiring, you can figure out stuff with the wiring. I think I probably need a solenoid for it, but we'll get around all that stuff, so just hang tight with me. Alright guys, I got it in the neutral test mode, so I know it's not going to go anywhere. I sprayed a little spark plug, carb spray down the cylinder, so let's see. We push this down. It's in neutral, so let's see what we got here. Oh, nothing, because I don't have it plugged in. Now let's try. Let's see. We did get it to kick over once there. Let's see if I can get this intake pipe off. There we are. And spray a little bit in there. It's probably fouled with WD-40, so let's see if that does anything. Not yet. Let's try it one more time. Then we'll keep on troubleshooting after that. Probably just got a bunch of junk in it, truthfully. So let's see. There, neutral. Let's try it again here. Can't get it to do anything. Let me keep on investigating here and see. I'd love to at least get it to where it at least tries to fire. You heard it hit that one time, but I'm wondering if something, you know, I got the WD-40 and all that stuff in there, if something's causing it to have issues or something. So we are further up than when we started, though, which is a good thing. All right, guys, so when I'm jumping it like that, I feel air coming out of the intake, which means that I think I got a stuck valve as well, because I'm spraying carb spray right down into it, and it's firing, and it's got fuel, quote unquote, but it's not doing anything. So, and I know that the pedal and everything looks like it's working like it's supposed to, so governor, so it should at least try and fire. but I feel the air coming out of the intake, so that means I don't think one of the valves is seating properly. Hopefully we don't have to take the head completely off on this thing in order to get it right. Hopefully we can just knock some WD down in there. But let me get that valve cover off right here. It's just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I think it's just 3 10mm. It may just be 2 10mm bolts here, and see what's going on. Feel like I've just been on this route with that generator, but check this out. Obviously, it's off the valve. So next order of business is to check to make sure it's not bent. That's a good way to check. Oh, does not appear to be, so that's a good thing. So we'll pop it back in here. Make sure that the rocker and the lifters is good. Oh, so that lifter is stuck, I think. So I might need to give it a little bit of encouragement, because that looks like to be my issue right there, is I've got a stuck valve spring at least. Let's see. Let me see if I can manually turn this by hand to see if it'll open and close. Oh yeah. So the valve is just stuck. Valve spring is just stuck. So as long as I can get that thing unstuck, hopefully it's not a valve seat or anything like that, we should be okay. Let me see if I spray a little bit of WD-40 and then just tap it a few times, just really lightly with like a rubber mallet or something, to see if it'll come back. I'll let y'all know. If we can do that, shoot, this thing probably will at least run on starter fluid, and then we can go through the process of the whole electrical system and stuff like that to hopefully get it working again. So that was good. Literally, I just did some really light taps with this ball peen hammer. Actually came back up after I put a little lubricant on it, so that was good. Hopefully we've got some. There we go. That's all we needed to do. So now we've got to put the push rod in, and well, what have we got to do next? So we've got to take a 10mm. I think I can just use this. That's an 8 or like a 9 or something. I'm just going to take that valve off the rocker, and then hopefully be able to. Oop, maybe I'm able to get it in just like that. Actually, hold on a second, y'all. Let's see. I think it's on the loose side though. Let's see what we got. Is it loose? How loose is it? Sorry if I'm in the way, guys. I'm just trying to. It's not loose. It's in the rocker. Okay, y'all. Neutral. Should still have some thing on some fuel on it. All right, let's cross this, see if it'll at least kick over. There we go. Cool. Do it one more time just for insurance or assurance purposes. She's a runner. I think it needs a starter solenoid. I would love to put a new starter solenoid and key switch on it. I'll confirm with the guy and make sure, because he gave me the wrong one. He did give me some belts for it. Maybe able to retrofit that 2-pole key switch to a 4-pole. Not completely sure yet, but we'll find out. But we got it running. I'll put the valve cover back on. It's probably all I can do tonight, but we'll catch it on another day. Alright guys, so I have done a little bit of troubleshooting while y'all have been away. And I don't know what I told y'all last, because it's been a couple weeks, I think. But here's the current situation. What I have done is I put a new key switch in it. The one that he gave me was for like a 48 or 36 volt, because it only had 2 poles. So I got the correct 4-pole switch, put that in, and replaced the starter solenoid with a new one. And then still didn't work. So I was trying to figure out, okay, what's going on here? So, long story short, what I did, what I found out, so there's a new solenoid in there, is that there's a diode. This diode runs in between the 2 terminals of the starter solenoid, the 2 ground terminals. Pretty sure that was bad. And what I looked is, you can run these without the diode. It's not ideal. But what it did, at least in a troubleshooting aspect, is it got me to that. So that's good. So we turn the switch off. Nothing happens. Okay, that was the first time I tried that. Turn the switch on. We have movement. So that's good. So let me put the plug back in. All the switches and stuff are working like they're supposed to, which is good. They had the fuse in the wrong spot here. It was supposed to be in the front. So a lot of things going wrong. Spark. I actually think one of the valves decided to come off the rocker, so I need to look at that next too. But the next order of business is just the fuel system. Everything right here on the base here is associated with that, like a fuel grommet and a few other things. So what I can do is at least tie up some loose ends when it comes to fixing the, or tie up the dash and everything, put that all back together. Put the plug back in. See if I can get it to run again. I think, like I said, I think that one of the valves decided it wanted to stick on me. So no biggie, we'll take the valve cover off and fix that. I just don't want to be fumbling around and not give y'all any results and y'all waste time. So I think I've shown y'all this. So we've got a new pickup. This I think was a fuel gauge, but we don't have a fuel gauge on this cart. I just think it was pretty universal. Got a grommet here to replace on this, so that's good. And we got to take the fuel tank off in order to get all that junk out of there, and it is junk. So I will work on that, and I'll catch y'all up with y'all in a few minutes. Well, I learned an unfortunate thing here. The whole back fender has to come off of this thing in order for this to come off of the cart. So, a lot of bolts. You got 3 big shifter screws right here in the front, the seat bolts, the bolts holding on the canopy here. Might have to take the whole canopy off in order to get this thing off. We'll have to see. I got to take the seat kit off. And I was like, man, if there's a way I can get around. There is no way for me to get around this. There's the float. The fuel level, which this doesn't have, it's just a universal thing, I guess, is laying down there on the bottom. It's all corroded, a bunch of varnish in the tank, so there's no way around this, guys. Just a bunch of bolts to get it off. I will rejoin you once we get it to that point. Again, pretty much if you see a bolt, take it off when it comes to this. So seat kit's a little bit different too. So hang tight. So we are putting in the process of putting everything back together. I have the carburetor off. It's just a couple of 10 millimeters and then a 10 millimeter on the top of the engine here gets that off. You take loose the throttle, put this little spacer aside, pulls off. One of the worst carbs I've seen, but I think it's salvageable. Reason being is, I mean, just look at all the junk on the bottom of that. Look at how easily it just kind of scrapes off the top of the bowl here. The bowl, or of the float. So the float, I know this is dirty. I get comments every time. But this is my dirty carb tray. Gonna be my dirty carb tray. And if you look inside, you can see a bunch of just junk, varnish, but it's wiping off fairly easily. So I'm gonna soak it in carb spray, clean all this stuff out of the bowl, and we'll see how clean we can get it. Alright guys, I basically have everything back together on this, except for the carburetor. Again, it's just putting a bunch of bolts back together, plugging a bunch of wires back in. In lieu of taking the front, this whole fender off, I took the back piece off of this. I ended up having to take the linkage and I guess the set adjustment off, take this off because the shifter wouldn't come out. So that's what had to go on. You can see I've got new fuel lines in here, new fuel grommet. That's really the only area that's a little loose. I turned this upside down, that way there wasn't rust going into it. Doesn't really serve any purpose on this cart. And the inside of the gas tank, hopefully you can see, is it ain't perfect, but probably 98% of the varnish is out. So I think we're going to be okay on that. So all that's left to do is actually put the carburetor back on. I do have to get a new one, unfortunately, because I tried to work on this one and the needle is just stuck up in there and ended up popping the head off. So I got a new carb coming in. Not really that big of a deal. It's just going to delay me a few days getting this thing back out. But I'm hoping that after I do all that, I can put everything back together and it'll run. And if it does, then we'll be done with this project. Really not too bad, just a lot of taking things apart to clean the fuel system out. So here we are a few days later. I had to order a new carburetor. I don't know if I covered that, but the needle head broke off and it was rusted inside the where the needle slides, and that was the one thing that prevented me from cleaning that carburetor. But it is in. Again, it's really not that difficult to do. You just have to put the it's just a throttle cable. We just have to put that on, slide this plastic piece under this metal piece right here that's attached to the bolts that hold on the carburetor, behind the carburetor, and then slap the carb on, put the fuel line on. Super easy to do. Going to see if I can prime this up with a little bit of carb spray to see if we can get everything pumping through this fuel system that I've done. I do need to put gas in it, so let me go ahead and take care of that, and I'll set you up and see if we can get this thing to run and drive. Alright, battery's in, gas is in, fuel line is on. We're going to turn the switch on, and then the neutral deal, which are in neutral, we'll push the pedal. It is pumping. Here we go. It's coming up through the fuel filter now. I said I was going to prime it, I lied. Coming up through the fuel filter. Come on. Alright, I might prime it just a little bit because I can smell the starter generator burning a little bit. Alright. Let's see. Hopefully I got enough oomph to get it back going again. Alright, here we go. Yeah. Being a little temperamental. because I see it right there. So I wonder if the needle's stuck in the carb. One more time here. Fuel delivery is not the problem. Oops. Because it's getting plenty of gas up there. It's only running on starter fluid. It's not getting the gas up to the carb. Let me see what's going on with that, and I will get right back to y'all. Hopefully I can figure, hopefully it's just like a stuck needle or stuck carb on the inside. No joke, as soon as I turn the camera off. Boop. That thing's running good too. Wow. I think somebody's got this thing turned up. Yeah, buddy. All right. Excellent. Oil's good. I think we're just going to take this thing out for a nice little drive. See what happens. Put some fuel in it. Got to burn off some stuff too, because it's pretty nasty under there. It was pretty nasty before I vacuumed it. And let's see if it cranks back up. Nice. That's awesome. I think remember that valve was trying to stick in there? So I think we just need to get some oil circulating and get everything nice and lubed up. And I think we'll be good. Let me get all this stuff out. We'll go for a quick little drive. And if that's all we need, then this thing gets out of here for some more interesting projects over there. Check them things out. So let me work on it. Be right back. Alright guys, just got done with a successful run around the block. Run's good, it's just burning some stuff off the exhaust, if you can see it right there. I didn't set y'all up to ride, so how about y'all, let's ride up the driveway. It's about maybe a 5 or 6 minute loop. Don't really care to be riding through the neighborhood with the camera on. People be thinking I'm filming. Check out how quick this thing pops off. Just like butter. That thing's fast too. Really fast. I don't really know what that diode was that was in between the starter solenoid, but that was the thing that was causing it to not run. I think I ran over a stick. I did. Yeah, that diode was the one thing that was preventing it from starting. So I took that thing out. And the brakes work pretty good too. I'm not going to skirt in the driveway, but picks right back up. Can't really ask for much better than that. So we'll get this thing reversed. I mean, it just pops right off. You can't ask for much better. This thing is not a looker by any means, but man, she runs great. Super excited. So let me get everything situated. We'll wrap everything up and get this thing back to its owner. So there it is. I tell you what, if I had a large enough property, I'd just tell him, this guy, because this guy right here flips golf carts, and I'd just tell him how much, because this would work great. A little beater golf cart would be exactly what I could use, but not on a half-acre lot where I don't really have anywhere to drive it. So that's the reason why I don't really keep any of these. Otherwise, I probably would have kept either this one or that Yamaha one that I showed y'all a while back, because this thing we'll probably sell it for like $2 grand. So Yeah, I think it was worth fixing. What do y'all think? I mean, we basically had to clean out the entire fuel system. The biggest issue was starter solenoid, key switch. I mean, this project's going on since before Christmas. I've had this thing in my garage for like 3 weeks, so I'm glad to have it done, ready to get it out of here. But anyways, we did all that, and then I figured out that that little diode that jumped across the terminals of the starter solenoid was what was causing it not to respond to any inputs after I turned the key. Once I figured that out, took it out, I looked, and if y'all know anything about golf carts, let me know what that diode does. It does seem like what it does is it prevents voltage spikes, but it's not. I figured that it would show up, you know, running around the block, which is about a mile loop, and it didn't show up. So maybe it's just like a safeguard just in case type deal. I'm not sure, but it's not. Whatever that diode was causing all of my issues really with the key switch and stuff. Either way, it needed a switch. But we did the whole entire fuel system, cleaned out the tank, new fuel lines, fuel filters, fuel pump, carburetor. So we did it all on this thing. And unlike mowers that don't really look very good, this guy usually gets really good deals on golf carts. So even after I charge him what I charge him to fix it, he's still gonna make a decent amount of money off of this. So maybe I should get into golf carts. What do y'all think? They're what's bringing in the money right now here in the winter. But thank y'all again for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this. The first golf cart video I had didn't really do very well, just that Yamaha one. But I'm gonna throw this one out there, see what y'all think. Hopefully it helped y'all figure it out in terms of getting things fixed and whatnot, if you are watching this as a repair video. Remember, I'm just getting started into these, so I'm learning along with you all. So I hope y'all enjoyed that, and I appreciate y'all watching. Again, we've got a good golf cart here. It doesn't look the part, but really, if it runs and drives, what I mean, do you need something that, you know, looks amazing as a form of transportation? Good farm cart for somebody. You don't have to worry about beating it up, messing it up too much. They still got a little TLC to do cosmetically, but they take care of that themselves. I just get it running, get it back out the door. Thank you all again for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, Ellis at ellismowers.com, or at ellismowers09 on Instagram and Facebook. And I will catch y'all on the next project. There's plenty of them behind me back here, as y'all can see. And I will see you then. Take care.